Why is Jose Rizal considered the national hero in the Philippines? First of all, we should clarify the meaning of a hero to make it quite simple to understand how Jose Rizal became one. A hero symbolizes goodness, and he gave us freedom by using goodness. Jose Rizal became the Philippine national hero because he fought for freedom in a silent but powerful way. He expressed his love for the Philippines through his novels, essays, and articles rather than through the use of force or aggression. He was a very amazing person at his time. He was humble, fighting for reforms through his writings instead of through a revolution. He used his intelligence, talents, and skills in a more peaceful way rather than the aggressive way. It's because the Americans want it. They proclaimed Rizal as the national hero so people in Philippines would see him as a model. They would follow him, people would just study and develop their talents and skills, and they would never be aggressive or be against to the Americans who are invading the Philippines that time. They preferred Rizal to be the national hero who is silent rather than Aguinaldo who is aggressive and may be against the Americans. Is it not only the Americans that made Jose Protesio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Realanda, June 19, 1861 to December 30, 1896, as a Philippine national hero but the Filipinos itself, for they seen his patriot works and his very most prominent advocacies for reforms in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial era, most especially his bloodless fight for the freedom of his motherland. His name can be found in almost all corners of the Philippines. Roads, schools, and even a province are named after him. His image can be found in peso bills and coins. Monuments are erected in his name, for most of this can be found in Rizal Park in Manila. These are manifestations of the country and Apo's reverence accorded to Jose Rizal as a national hero. Why is Rizal a national hero? What are his contributions to Philippine history that makes him preeminent among other Filipino heroes? Here are some of the reasons Rizal is a national hero of the Philippines. In late 19th century, Rizal became the voice of a people long oppressed by centuries-old Spanish rule. As an educated man, he was exposed to some of the abuses by Spanish friars and government officials. As a founder and member of the La Liga Filipina, he originally pushed for reforms of Spanish colonial rule. He wrote Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. Although fictional, the novels describe the abuses committed by Spanish officials against the locals. Alarmed over the threat posed by the two novels, angry Spanish officials pushed for Rizal and Apo's arrest and exile in Dapitan. While exiled in Dapitan, Rizal devoted himself to improving the conditions of people in Dapitan. During this time, the concept of an Filipino was taking shape among the inhabitants of the islands. Before, society was divided among Spanish citizens and Indios, locals. Some began to form nationalistic ideas. Rizal and Apo's two novels inspired locals to call not for Spanish government reforms but for independence from Spain. This alarmed the Spanish colonial government. In 1896, Rizal was executed in Bagumbayan, Rizal Park, on charges of sedition and treason. The execution did not prevent the calls for independence to stop. The Katipunan led a full-scale revolutionary war against the Spanish colonial government. Although Rizal did not push for independence, his writings and execution inspired many to revolt against Spain. This is the primary reason Jose Rizal is a national hero. He instilled the sense of nationalism among citizens oppressed by centuries-old Spanish rule. Rizal did not advocate for armed struggle. He is the epitome of the saying and the pen is mightier than the sword, and he was also a learned man who pushed for the emancipation of the people through education. He advocated for equal rights be accorded to locals and not just limited to Spanish colonials. And finally, he was a martyr that stood for his beliefs. Did Dr. Jose Rizal deserve to be a national hero? Dr. Jose P. Rizal is a hero, yes, but was he worthy to be considered as our national hero? In my own opinion, he only became a hero because his family was rich and famous. They were rich that he had a private tutor. So rich that he was sent to Manila to study to prestigious school and even sent to Spain to widen his wisdom. Because of his family's fortune, he also gained friends, and among them were very well known and were respected to the society. Without his family's money, he would not be able to prosper and improved himself, hence, was able to see the disparity between the rich and the poor, and even witnessed the maltreatment of the friars against the Filipinos, including the abuses of the Spanish officials who was then running our country. On the other hand, we might as well consider him as a national hero because he's a multifaceted individual both through the mind and manipulative areas, not to mention his inherent character and the love to people, especially to the poor. His sensitivity to the needs of others was overwhelming, as evidenced by his sincere services to the people as doctor, engineer, teacher, artist, farmer, and the like. He fought through his pen, books, and knowledge. He did not fight through guns and swords. With the articles he has written, of which most of the topics discussed were all about slavery and abuse, he has touched lives, awakened the people, but also provoked the Spaniards, thus sent him to jail. But even then, he was still fighting, not for himself or for his family, but more for his people, for us, through his ideas, through poems and other written articles. But whether a national hero or not, he did a very good job for us, considering the fact that he had set us all free from slavery and better education. He's a very good example and an inspiration to us, most especially to students, because of his intelligence and boldness. He was not a traitor. He had faced death with boldness. He had proven the saying that goes, "A pen is mightier than sword." Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel for more Philippine history videos.